How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious. This is Colred, and we are talking about Titan events. Colred, how you doing, my man? Are you ready to share your Titan wisdom?
I am great. I'm fun. Let me try that again. Fastidious, I am doing great. I am happy to be here. We're going to talk about Titan events, and these are new. I know the last time that you played Raid, these were not in the game, so I'm excited to share my hard-earned wisdom with you, and hopefully we can help some of the viewers as well.
Yeah, so you're dead on the money there. I've never seen one of these. I've heard about them since I've returned. People are like, are you going to do a Titan tool on the website? Are you going to make a video about Titan? I don't know what it is. So like the path events, they had right when I was stopping playing, like end 2022, they had some version of the path, so it didn't look wholly 1000% new to me. It seems like they've changed a lot of things, how it works, but it was a little familiar. This I've never seen before. These pages, I mean, it's not so hard to figure out what's going on here. I'll tell you, like my first 2 or 3 days on this account, maybe 4 days, there was one ending. There was a Mad Hatter one ending, but obviously I didn't even try to approach it. So since, the real 2.5 months I've been playing and back, this is the first time I've actually seen it, and the first attempt I will make to wrap my head around it. And I assume a lot of people that came over with me, or maybe new players that found my channel, maybe found yours, are also going in kind of blind, and we need an expert. So when I need an expert, I get a Colred. That's kind of what I do on this channel.
All right, well, I'll have to live up to that. Hopefully I don't mess it up.
What should we do? What am I looking at? What is this?
Okay, all right. So yeah, let's dive in. So first of all, a Titan event, they started doing maybe a year and a half ago, I want to say, something around there. And it took them a while to kind of find the rhythm. But the basic idea behind a Titan event is it's another event. It is a 2-week event, just like a Fusion event is. In fact, it's basically a Fusion event in a new skin. That's what it is. And the reward most typically, is a 5-star soul for the latest Fusion champion. In this particular case, what they did is they gave us a hero's path for the Fusion champion soul. And that freed up the Titan event to be able to be for this login champion that is currently available to everybody. So it's basically another Fusion. There are some differences. We're going to talk about the differences, but you can expect somewhere in the vicinity of 16 events. A Fusion event is typically 16 events, sometimes 15. And so we're likely to see 16 events over the next 2 weeks. And you're likely to have to complete a very high percentage of those events and tournaments in order to complete the entire reward track and get the soul.
Gotcha.
If you want, you can if you jump in the news, can you jump in the news section?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah, and so if you go to they do this little Community Weeks Titan event thing every time, and they give you a little bit of a breakdown. It's not bad to like read this once, but the most important pieces of information are the dates. You can see the dates there. But the other thing is the point total. You need 1,500 Titan points. There's a maximum of 1,750 points. So that's really, really important. And then up at the top, it says, you can earn top of that paragraph.
Sorry.
You'll be able to earn up to 950 Titan points during the first part. And so that's during the first week, and up to 800 Titan points during the second part. It's kind of broken again into 2 weeks, just like a Fusion is, first week, second week. And the point totals don't always match up. Like every week, they aren't symmetrical. So
yeah, and this is a good example of that, I guess. That's kind of bizarre. 950 and 800 is a weird pairing.
Yeah. And again, you need 1,500 points in order to max out. And that's typical. Sometimes they give us free points. They'll just points will show up in your mailbox. There'll be a little gift. But often you have to earn all of your points.
Okay, great to know. Yeah, that's something that immediately caught my eye, because the only event that is live right now, and there's also the Spider Tournament, which I guess I'll chip away at. But we have this champ training, and I checked the Titan event. I saw we need 1,500, and then from this champ training, you can get 50, and then what is it, 100 somewhere right here. So already 1/10. So I was like, oh, is it just 10 events? But I guess that kind of answers our question. There are some to leave on the table. So let me ask you the question I think I know I'm wondering, and I would think many people are wondering, is this something that can be done without summoning?
It would be very tricky. It would be very tricky to do a Fusion without summoning. In fact, you can't really do it anymore without summoning. So you're probably going to have to summon at some point. But the good news is often there will be a 2x event in there that you can use. But if you go back to, if you go to the tournaments.
Okay. Yep.
You'll see there's a Spider Tournament, Turn Attack.
Yeah, Turn Attack thing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if you look there, so this is something to note, which is maybe different than like a fusion event, where it's, if you're doing a classic fusion, every event awards you the same number of like champions or the same number of fragments, right? So 25 fragments per event, or one rare champion per event, with the rare exception of like the bonus events. Like there might be something where you can get some bonuses. But in this particular case, we have a spider turn attack tournament. This gives you 50 points, but then the champion training gives you 150.
Yeah.
The lowest number of points you'll see during an event is 30. That's the fewest I've ever seen. The most you're likely to see is probably 200, although I think I've seen 250 once or twice. So it is possible for like a champion training or a dungeon divers to have a very high number of points, or sometimes they mix in like a hero's path or a deck of fate or something that might have 200 or 250 points, even 300 points for a deck of fate is potentially possible.
So you're saying the deck of fate coming up might be semi-required for this? It might be tied into this?
Right. So
Gross.
Imagine like if you could only miss 250 points, and if the deck of fate is 300 points, then you literally have to get at least 50 points from that deck of fate. And if you only get 50 points from that deck of fate, you can't skip any other event. The way you kind of do these is, rather than, during a fusion event, we get that calendar and we can kind of plan ahead, and we could use your planner, right? And have all of that help. But we don't actually know what the points are going to be for any given event, because they change them for every single Titan event. So this champion training is 150, but last time it was 200,
Okay.
And we don't know where the extra points are going to come from. And we don't know if all of the events will have all of the points, or if they'll give us free points. They give us no information. So basically what you have to do is very carefully track your points. And if you want the 5-star soul, consider it basically like a fusion. You need similar resources as you would need to complete a fusion. And if you have those resources, then you're probably in pretty good shape, but you need to front load your efforts.
Yeah.
You need to make sure, like in the first week, you get every single event and you don't skip anything if you can help it.
Because you don't know what's coming, so you literally cannot know if you're screwing yourself or not.
Right, exactly. And what'll happen is, when that deck of fate lands, that's when everybody will make their call. Right.
Yeah.
When we see what the actual points are, then people will be like, oh, I'm dropping down to the 4-star soul or the 3-star soul. And that's one of the other differences here, which is like some Titan events only have a 5-star soul. They don't have all the split souls all along the way. But this one does. And this is because it's for a login champion and they want to be friendly about it. So what that means is everybody will get the 1-star soul, and probably the 2-star soul. It's really, really easy to get the 1 and 2-star soul. It takes just a couple of events. Even if you are a brand new player, you can get a 2-star soul. The 3-star souls, maybe a little bit.
Well, actually, that's something I wanted to ask you, because it's community weeks. I was just telling you before we started filming, of course, you're very famously free to play, but they just had the best energy pack I've seen. And unfortunately, I just went for a slightly worse one early, but it seems like they're leaning into a little generosity. And I got to say, this champ training, I'm probably going to max it out because I want the legendary book. So it doesn't matter to me, but it was very interesting to see. I mean, 6,300 champ training points in 4 days is like not a lot of work. And that would get you a quarter of the way to the 3-star soul already. Is it possible, because they're trying to sell this as a community thing, it actually might be on the easier side? I'm not going to call it easy, because these are always resource intensive, but is that too presumptuous potentially?
No, I actually think that's probably where their head is at. They're going to make it relatively easy compared to some. Titan events are more variable than fusion events. Fusion events tend to be really predictable, and Titan events tend to be less predictable. This one feels okay, with the exception being maybe if the deck of fate is really unfriendly, and we won't know, until that lands. And so, like I said, that's where people make the call. It has happened from time to time where, on my end game account, I've backed off the 5-star soul and gone for the 4-star soul, just because the events roll out in a really unfriendly way, and I don't want to spend all of those shards or whatever resources it happens to be. But the start of this one does not look too bad. 50 points for a spider tournament. It's a turn attack tournament too, which is generally less energy than a regular dungeon diving like style tournament. And normally you get a 30-point bundle here, or batch of points. So it feels like they're giving us more points for less energy with the turn attack tournaments and the champion training. So that's really nice. So it could be that they'll make it really easy for everybody to get the 3 or 4 star soul, and they'll still make it hard for the 5-star soul. I don't know.
So yeah, you've kind of confirmed my theory / my fear that they're going to keep us fairly in the dark. So yeah, I think we just stay on top of it to kick this thing off and set ourselves up to not fail. And we can decide if we don't want to fail, but bail out, bow out early. If it's looking like, yeah, the 3-star is going to happen, but the 5-star, I don't know.
Yeah. And now they've gotten a little bit better about not keeping us in the dark quite as much because there is an event calendar, but it's not for everybody, which is a little bit weird, but it's the Plarium Play event calendar. So if you are playing on PC, or if you have a friend who's playing on PC, you can go to this event calendar and you can see, when a Titan event launches, they will populate the first week, the first half, and you can see which events have points. Now, you won't know how many points there are available based on this calendar, but you can see all of the different events that come out in the first week. This is how we know there is a deck of fate, right? This because it's on this calendar. So we also know that there are, the various tournaments. We can see where the days are, so you can kind of plan a little bit. It's more helpful than it used to be. This is our one little piece of information that Plarium throws us, and they don't do it for mobile users, but a lot of content creators will cover this, because they know that not all of the viewers have Plarium Play, and so we'll go over this and just kind of break it down and see what information we can glean from this calendar here.
It's nice because we can kind of reverse engineer it. We know, what was it? The 21st to the 26th is 850 points. We know of 200 points already, right? That's the champ training we talked about, wherever that is. This is hard to navigate. The champ training and then the spider turn attack. So, here you can see with this little emblem, that means this must be, right? That means this is Titan. So there's 650 left on the table, and it looks like we are getting Fire Knight, we're getting Classic Arena. One Fire Knight, something we're all excited to do, I would think. Classic Arena is something that is usually really easy. Gear Enhancement, pretty straightforward. Dungeon Divers, does that line up with the Fire Knight? It entirely does. And here's a scary Summon Rush. So that's our first little peek. And then, like you said, tucked away right here, April the 27th until May the 1st, this is going to be that Deck of Fate, which they're not really telling us anything about, right? Because there's a lot of different kinds of Decks of Fate.
What you can do, though, is you can kind of look at when it is, and you can see the events around it. So, for instance, can you expand that to like full screen so we can see the whole thing at once? Yeah, so if we scroll around, it's like, is there a Summon Rush? There is actually a Summon Rush. So it might not be a shard pulling Deck of Fate because they rarely let us double dip with a Summon Rush and a Deck of Fate. It could be. It could be, we won't know. You know what I mean? And that's really, it could be really frustrating because if you pull on Friday, you pull all your shards, and then it turns out that the Deck of Fate is a shard pull event, then you can't double dip on Sunday. You know what I mean? So this is the kind of information that this calendar can help us with. Like when we're planning, we might want to say, all right, just in this one little space right here, we're going to hold our summons until Sunday on the off chance that the Deck of Fate is a shard pulling Deck of Fate. And that way you can double dip with the Summon Rush and the Deck of Fate. I don't expect it to be. This makes me think that it's probably going to be dungeon diving.
I was thinking maybe it'd be Souls. Maybe the
could
Altar
be
Souls.
Yeah, it could be Souls. That's a good idea. Could be Souls and champ training.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I'm curious. I wonder if, so maybe we'll know, right? Maybe they'll overplay their hand. If we see when the Summon Rush starts, there's a 2-day summoning event that's really good, right? Like 2 days of 2x or something, or 2 good progressives, then we might think, oh, maybe they're trying to get us to blow it. And then here comes the Summoning Deck of Fate. But I think you're probably right. It doesn't sound very Plarium-y to let us do one summon and get points in 2 events. That doesn't sound like them.
Yeah, that's not really something that they do often. So,
man, I guess another thing to address, we're probably both going to have to speak to it, is this guy worth the trouble? I mean, he's clearly good, but for a lot of players, do you need his 5-star soul? It's probably a story for another day, don't you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, quickly, what I would say is he's a really good progression champion. So if you're early in the game and you think you have the resources, probably like if you're a low spender, it's going to be hard if you're free to play. It would be worth considering. A 5-star soul is extremely powerful. And it's really like any champion that you build to 6 stars, any legendary champion, any epic champion, you want to get the 5-star soul if you can. But I will also say this, don't kill yourself for it and don't overspend for it. A 3-star soul is very good on a support like this. A 4-star soul is usually really good on a damage dealer, but you could go for the 4-star soul. And remember that the soul shop, will always show you souls that are 1 star higher than what you've got.
Yeah.
So if you get the 3-star soul, the shop will start showing you that 4-star soul. So it's not your only chance to get the 5-star soul. That's why I say don't kill yourself. But if you can, it's a very good soul for a support.
Yeah, that'd be my quick take for here, or for this video right now. What I'd also say is people that start around the same time as me, or maybe you're free to play challenge, right? That's when Alice was live. So if you're trying to finish that Sacred Order faction crypt, I mean, between him and Alice, you just need 3 other warm bodies and you should get this thing done. So definitely get him. I mean, you just have to log in to get him. If you even just get into 2 or 3-star soul, I think you'll be in pretty good shape. And then obviously if you can luck into the 5, that'd be pretty cool. I think it's a good point you make though about the 4-star soul. He is going to be a support. You're going to build him like a support. He's going to act like a support. So if you know you can't get the 5-star soul, no reason to, lose your mind, right? Because you're getting it's crit damage at the 4th.
It's crit damage on
awakening. So I think people can kind of take a load off, a little extra HP, sure, but I think we'll be okay. So go for the 3, go for the 5. I'm hopeful that the 3 is gonna be easy. I'm getting the sense the 3 is gonna be easy.
3 will be easy. 3 should be easy. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I sincerely learned a ton because this was completely foreign to me. Often I bring you and I kind of know what we're talking about, but you're just filling in all my gaps. I had enormous gaps and you filled them all. Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm happy that I filled in your enormous gaps tonight.
And on that note, guys, it's become a little too PG-13 for one of my videos, so we're going to sign off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, check out Cole Red. We're going to have his link, as we like to do, in the description in the top and comment. And if you're just starting Raid or you want to start a new account, I've got the best link in the land. Check that out. Download the game. Have yourself some fun. Share with your mother, guys. We'll see you real soon.
Fastidious.
It's disgusting.
Is that too much, man?
I loved it. It was great.
Okay.